Gervonta Davis will never be a great by not going up in weight to fight the rest of the three kings and fighting guys that are coming up in weight. He'll never be great. That's the word out there on the street. That's what we're going to talk about and debunk. Because I had a conversation with one of the better boxers you've ever heard of. Will not reveal their name, but feel, happy to have heard this. And let me tell you, the end of it is that in a lot of ways, you guys are right. According to this person, Gervonta Davis is not like one of the four kings of the 80s. And neither are any of the other guys that are fighting at 135 or 140. But there is somebody that Gervonta Davis is like that debunks everything people are saying. Let's talk about that. And also, Leonard Ellerbe came out and also spoke briefly about the ducking of Gervonta Davis. Now, we're going to connect those two things and we should have a very interesting conversation. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, and historically speaking, we're going to be in the 140-pound division, where we're going to give people a little bit of a historical reminder and put things in their proper context. Gervonta Davis has been accused throughout Twitter, throughout YouTube, I suppose Instagram, I don't really do Instagram that much, of not chasing greatness and not being on the same path as the four kings. Because he has not fought, because this fight with Lamont Roach is not involving fighters that people really want to see. Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez. Right? Similar to the four kings. That's been put out there on Gervonta. When the fact of the matter is that Lomachenko turned down an opportunity. Shakur Stevenson said that that fight was not going to happen next. Berinacek, we don't know where Berinacek is. Haven't heard from him, never said anything, no talk about it. And the other champion is Gervonta. Okay? Everybody else is at 140. But so people say, but you got to go there or you'll never be great. Well, I spoke with somebody that was around during that time. And they were like, man, first of all, Gervonta ain't like them or us. What Gervonta Davis is Gervonta is more like Aaron. Gervonta is more like Aaron Pryor. What? Like, yeah, he's more like Aaron Pryor. Like, if you really want to go back and do the comparison, because I'm telling you, the people that talk about these four kings and all this stuff, they probably haven't even seen them. But didn't see them or weren't literally, because I'm 55 years old and I was young at the time of Roberto Duran, Thomas Hitman Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. I was into boxing very young, but I was still young. I couldn't go see the short circuit television broadcasts and all that stuff that my dad and my older siblings did. But whatever the case, this guy's like, no, that's not it. Comparing to Gervonta Davis to the four kings is wrong. They're like, no, you got to compare him to Aaron Pryor. Because that's who if you're going to say of all of those, that's who he is. Because he's the one that's most avoided. He's like, no, look at this, man. They all fought each other. Listen to this. Like, they all fought each other, didn't they? Hearns and Hagler and Duran, Hearns, Hagler, and Duran all fought each other. Sugar Ray Leonard all fought each other. None of them fought the guy that was smaller than them, who was at 140 pounds, who was an absolute killer, and who really may have been able to beat all of them. Because my understanding is Aaron Pryor beat Sugar Ray Leonard. We used to beat up Sugar Ray Leonard, or they fought in the amateurs. They're from the same area. Those guys had history together. And there are a lot of people that claim, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I think there's a strong argument for it that, hey, man, anyway, it was a missed opportunity for him that he never got to fight Tommy Hearns. He never got to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, and he never got to fight Roberto Duran. And Roberto Duran actually came up from a smaller weight class than him. Roberto Duran fought all those guys. He didn't fight Gervont. He didn't fight Aaron Pryor. Now, why would I say that these guys are similar? Because Aaron Pryor is somebody that will decapitate you. And Aaron Pryor is a small stature, shorter than all those other guys. He also is dynamic and athletic and fast as any, or faster than all of them, except for maybe Sugar Ray Leonard. But just a terrific fighter. There's tapes of him with Tommy Hearns in the amateurs. Them dudes going at it. I do think that maybe Aaron Pryor may be a couple years older than Tommy Hearns, but still, that's how great a fighter Aaron Pryor is. And these guys weren't looking to fight him. So who did Aaron Pryor fight? He fought a guy that came up in weight named Alexis Arguello. Alexis Arguello and him had two battles, some of the greatest fighters in the 1980s. But many people don't know who he is. Many people don't know who he is. Now, what's the difference? Why would you compare him, Martin, Aaron Pryor to Tank? Because obviously Tank is such a big name. And Aaron Pryor, Aaron Pryor wasn't really the draw, right? Well, that just exacerbates the problem, doesn't it? Because these same people are not trying to fight Tank. I just named all the people that were not looking to fight Tank. You don't hear these people trying to fight Tank. For all the people groaning and moaning about Tank, and Tank, who he chose as a fourth option, you got a guy that is that big a name with that big a fight that has to take his fourth option. That's Aaron Pryor treatment. That's not Sugar Ray Leonard treatment. Sugar Ray Leonard didn't have to wait for his fourth option. They all lined up to fight Sugar Ray Leonard when Sugar Ray Leonard was the draw. Right? And the size things works with everybody else because all of Aaron Pryor's contemporaries are bigger than him. Just like all of the people that you're talking about with Gervonta Davis fight, these people are talking about Gervonta Davis fighting are all bigger than him. So what does Aaron Pryor do? Aaron Pryor got to take the fights Aaron Pryor can get. So what does Tank obviously got to do? He got to take the fights Tank got to get. But guess what? Tank's got an advantage over Aaron because Tank just happens to be the biggest draw. It shows you that when Terrence Crawford said the other day that, hey, man, maybe some of these guys are scary. Right? Now, some of them are positioning, for sure. Some of them are positioning. Some of it is around promoters and the promoter, whether or not the promoter is going to make money off the fight. That's what Leonard Ellerby was saying. Why would the promoters put him in there if the promoters aren't making money? You got to understand that that's part of business, not just the business of boxing, but that's business. When somebody is investing their money, they got to get a return on the investment of their money. So really, if you really want to look at it, the totality of what I'm trying to communicate in this is that while Gervonta Davis is a really, really big name, and there's conversations about him fighting those other guys, and the comparison to the Four Kings is something that is, it's easy to see at surface level. But if you really look at that comparison and dig into it a little bit, you realize that Gervonta is not a Sugar Ray Leonard. He's not a Tommy Hearns. He's not a Roberto Duran. He's not a Hagler. And matter of fact, you got guys in 140, and the reason he's not those guys is the size relative to each other. The 140, the guy that's at, 140 would have been the guy that was always at 140. Gervonta's already come up from 126 to 130 to 135. Also, as far as having to move up to be great, Aaron Pryor is great, even though he didn't fight those guys. Aaron Pryor is immortalized, even though he didn't fight those other guys. He may not have got the money, but hey, guess what? Gervonta already got the money. So that's already taken care of for him. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.